Hey guys, I'm Aoife. I'll be talking about Joseph and his Technicolor coat. Who's Joseph? Well, Joseph was one of Jacob's youngest children. Because he was born while Jacob was so old, Jacob held so much favor for him that he gave him this ornate robe or this multicolored coat, which made all his other elder brothers like really jealous, because who wouldn't be jealous of a spectacular robe? Like, I don't know, I would. Joseph had a bunch of wild dreams. They're crazy. So he had two in the beginning, where all his brothers and his parents all bowed down to him. And when he woke up, he told his family these dreams, because he's like, I had a weird dream, let's tell my family, see how they react. And they're all like, no, wait, what do you mean by that? Do you mean that we're gonna bow down to you, you're gonna rule over us? Who are you? You're just the youngest kid, like, you're not gonna be something big or whatever, like, what's the sus? And Joseph was like, oh, okay, sure, but in the background, all his brothers very annoyed by this, because they're like, we're your older brothers, like, you should have respect for us because we're older than you. So they went off, did their jobs, and they're like, we're working, he's being loved on by our father, why is he the favorite? That's not fair. So Joseph's brothers got so angry, and so much hatred came up into them while they were working and thinking about how Joseph was a favorite. They're all working. They're like, let's throw him in a well. Eventually, the Ishmaelites sold Joseph to one of the Pharaoh's royal guards and an official of Egypt named Potiphar. Then one thing led to another, and he became the Pharaoh's right-hand man. Crazy, right? So a few years passed, and a famine was coming. So Joseph, being like really blessed by God and overseeing, because he was like overseeing nearly everything, he had the hindsight of storing food in warehouses and preparing the whole of Egypt for this famine. So one day, his brothers, unknowing that Joseph was this man in charge, came to him and they were like, hi, our crops have failed, everything's going wrong, can we borrow some of your grain from your storehouses? Can you share some with us? Now, Joseph, having like looked back, he's like, these guys threw me in a well. And like, I don't know what my dad, I don't know what he's thinking. Like, well, what's the story? What should I do? And he's thinking all this to himself, and then he goes, oh, I know what I should do. I should blame them and hide a silver goblet in their bag. But then he's like, no, maybe I shouldn't do that. And Joseph finds this compassion and the grace in his heart to forgive his brothers for throwing him in the well, selling him to these strangers, and going through all this, because like he now has an opportunity to forgive them, and they don't look very happy. And he's like, you know what, I'm going to give them this grain, I'm going to forgive them in my heart. So what can we learn from the story of Joseph? Well, I know myself, as like the youngest of 4 children, I've been through my fair share of sibling arguments and all that jazz, whether it be like stealing socks or misplacing items or like debating whether something is right or not. But what we can learn from Joseph's story is that, like, though you may clash heads with your siblings or your parents, and that's okay, especially like during these times where we're all cooped up together and we're all like, ooh, you know. But what's really, really important is that you forgive them if they have made a mistake or said something wrong, and that like you just say to them, it's okay, I forgive you. And if you've done something wrong, you also ask for forgiveness, because it's so important. Because like if you have like family feuds, they can be terrible, and you can only imagine if Joseph had like left that cup in his brother's satchel, they would have been sent to jail. They could have been, goodness knows what. But what we've learned is that it's good to forgive. It's the right thing to do, and it makes everything better.